bring some of the community leaders in. Absolutely. Yeah, no, we didn't think, all the damage we had in that area was literally across the highway. It was almost like 45 was just the damage.
Like right here.
Yeah.
That's one of the front you get behind.
Robert?
Everywhere else.
We'll just make a few general comments and try to open up for questions. It's great to be back in Butler County. It's unfortunate we're back in Butler County for this reason. I just wanted everybody to know that your state senator, Jason Bean, and I have been in constant communication along with Robbie Myers, both who I've known for a long time. They've trained for emergencies, and unfortunately, this is a day we've had to put that in place. As you know, we signed an executive order in advance. Yesterday afternoon, we believe the storms had the look of severity, and thankfully we did that. So it's essentially declared our state emergency orders already and activated resources that we need from National Guard and all of our state agencies coordinated together. Last night's storms had a horrific path. Over 27 counties were affected significantly. And at one time last night, between midnight and 4 a.m., we had 150 fires. We had over 150,000 people out of electricity, multiple tornadoes, fatalities, looting, auto accidents, just you name it, kind of an Armageddon situation for emergency response. But our emergency response people in our communities have done an unbelievable job coordinating with local police department, Missouri Highway Patrol, MoDOT, electric officials from co-ops and municipalities have all worked together to try to move through this storm, and that's what the state is all about. It's great to have my friend Rob Nodell here somewhere. We've worked with him for a long time in the state. He's certainly very familiar with what this process is. I'm spending so much time in the governor's office. We'll let you know that we've coordinated communications with our federal delegation, with all of our state senators across the state, and then state senators in the region to their state representatives, and try to make sure they understand the process of now rebuilding, identifying the damage, and getting it to our state emergency management agency is a critical next step. Last but not least, the White House has been very involved. I was on the phone with them at early stages of the storm last night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and midnight, and then again right away this morning at 6 a.m. as daylight started to break. They're very involved and understand what our critical needs are. We have unfortunately 11 fatalities across the state that we know of right now, and one person missing. We hope that number doesn't grow, but due to the intensity of the storms and significant nature of what we saw, unfortunately there could be more. We will do the best to get our arms around that as quick as possible. And with that, I think probably we should take some questions. I will say Mark James, our DPS director, is with us today. Colonel Mike Turner of Highway Patrol is also with us. Thank you, Colonel. They are critical components to our emergency development plan. My chief of staff, Adam Gresham, actually was at the Emergency Operations Center most of the night last night, working with our EOC officials at our National Guard facility there just east of Jefferson City. So we've had all hands on deck, but when you have this widespread of an event, it is challenging to get your arms around, but that Missouri knows how to recover, recuperate, and help their neighbors, and we're asking people to do just that in this particular case of emergency. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
What's your message to any people that are still fighting this right now?
Yeah, try to help each other, help your neighbors out. If you're afflicted, understand that resources are stretched, but we have mobilized resources from non-affected parts of the state down to these affected areas in southeast Missouri. They're traveling as we speak, are arriving on scene as we speak. So we're trying to get as much help as we can together. I'm really, really proud of how our counties, our local police departments, our highway patrol, our emergency management services have all tried to work together and get into these areas. Patience is what I would say, and then know that we're getting as much help into these areas as possible as quick as we can.
Is anyone compiling a list of shelters and resources that we could share with the public?
I saw a data sheet when I was coming down here on shelters, and I will make sure that's made available to you. It's out there. I just looked at that as we were coming down. Anything else? Good. I'm sorry, Senator Bean, do you have anything you want to
No,
add?
just echo your comments, and want to thank everybody. Everybody really pulled together true Missouri fashion, and Governor, thank you. We were on the phone very early this morning. Been in contact with everybody here from when we started. Well, we actually started yesterday morning and prepared
look, I would say that your emergency managers all across the state train for this situation. And a lot of times we hear from communities, I wanted to get my emergency manager, but he or she's off on training. This is what they train for, and that's why training and preparedness and readiness is so critical. Our state does it very well. We always get a few lessons learned, but I'm really proud of the reaction of those emergency managers, including this Robbie behind me, who's been a rock star down in this area, things like this.
And just one final question, Governor. What's your plans for today? I know I heard something about a caravan, but what are your plans of going to see kind of the devastation today?
Well, let me just say first, the last thing I want to do is have a politician come to a disaster area and have resources come talk or cater to us. That's not who I am. That's not who any of the gentlemen standing behind me we are. But we also want communities to know that help is there and that we care about their problems and want to be there. So we intend to look around the Butler County area today, then Wayne County, then Jefferson County. So it's 3 areas that had a significant effect. I think you know up in the Piedmont area, there was significant loss of life. And again, we don't want to take resources away from those who need it, but we also want to make sure these communities know where they're trying to help.
Do you have any words for the public on how they can be most helpful in this situation to first responders?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would tell you that the first responder community needs a lot of help and prayers right now. Any assistance that you can give a first responder in your area would be grateful, and you know, they would be grateful as well. And then the other thing I would say is try to listen to the first responders. A lot of times, certainly we've had some problems with this storm where there were significant warnings and issues out there that the public, for many reasons, might have chose not to abide by. When these storms come and the warnings come out in your first responder community, ask you to stay at home, stay at place, stay away from this particular area, watch low water crossings, etc. It's usually for good reason.
Why decide that you needed to get on that plane today and come and kind of see, this part of Missouri and be here for these residents?
Well, this is a great part of our state. I have a lot of friends and relationships down here. But it's when tragedy like this happens, people want to know that there's somebody there who's got their back. And I want folks in this state to understand that politicians can be very political some days, but when it comes to trying to put together resources to care for those in need, the men and women I work with in the Capitol and in these communities are very good at coming together, and we intend to expedite and combine those resources to help those in need.
Thank you all very much. We got an agenda we got to stick to today. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank Representative Harley Billington, who just walked in. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
John.
brother.
Appreciate your help.
Yeah, this guy's a rock star as well, so thank you.
Can we expect any federal declarations out of this?
Well, that's a great question, and that's the timing. That's the other thing we're trying to work with our emergency managers like Robbie to understand that federal help comes when we assess and compile the damage. There are certain thresholds that you have to get to. Unfortunately, I've had to work one of these before on behalf of Governor Parson when he was out of town, and I understand that getting the data and getting it to a central location, which is our state emergency management agency, we will get that to the federal delegation as quick as possible. They are waiting for it. FEMA Director 7 was taken out of bed this morning, about 3 in the morning, out of Kansas City to let her know that data was coming. And again, the White House has let national FEMA authorities know that we are compiling that. We'll get that information to them. In hopes, unfortunately, a federal delegation declaration means that damage was significant. So I hate to say that there's enough to make it there, but I think we believe probably it's going to hit the thresholds that are required for federal assistance.
Thank you, sir.